All because of your credit card. I'm excited to go on a fun trip with my buddies. Tom has been acting a little strangely lately. He's been acting tense around the house, arriving home late, and having private phone talks with Sophia. I couldn't help but worry whether he and Sophia were plotting behind my back. Whatever they had in mind, I was ready. I should definitely go up to him and pretend to be startled. "What is meant by yours?" I inquired, wanting more information. It was no secret to me that Tom was going on a trip today. To be honest, I'm shocked if he believes he can fool me this easily. I wish he had given his idea more careful consideration. I've been understanding up until now, but now I want exact revenge. I've always had a plot ready to exact revenge. It's time for us to confront Tom and his sister. I think that by the end of today, after all of our patience, things will begin to make sense. I hope they have a great time traveling without realizing that I have someone working for me behind my back. I'm Eva Brooke, 36 years old, and I live with my spouse, Tom. After high school, I started working right away. I've received many certificates from my employer because of my background and a reference from my manager. A strong track record and these credentials are very important. I was the youngest person in my firm to be promoted to a lead role, having done so at the age of 23. Even though it's only a leadership position, I still consider it a major accomplishment. My silent ambition has always been to go up the corporate ladder and eventually become, at the very least, the head of a department. Tom was among the new hires the organization welcomed over time. I was younger than him, but I worked in a more senior role. Tom and 3 other newbies made up the entire number of trainees I was responsible for training. "Hey, Eva, aren't we about to be the same age? And you're a supervisor already. That's incredible," Tom said, sounding shocked. "Yes, I may be younger by a year or 2. Since my early high school graduation, I have been employed here," I said. "It's given me a lot of experience." Tom would frequently compliment me back then, as if my early professional emphasis had impressed him. Tom eventually started to express interest in me, and even though I was first apprehensive, I felt myself falling for him. Our relationship progressed along a well-known route over time, dining out, car trips, and ultimately agreeing to move in together. I became aware of Tom's less careful behaviors when we were living together. I tried not to let it get to me too much since I figured that may be his way of being real and trustworthy with me. Tom asked after a while, and I said yes. We then took a seat and discussed our shared future. Tom said, "I'd love for you to be a stay-at-home wife. You can take care of the house and I'll work and earn money. That arrangement is perfect. In addition, I want us to arrange our wedding, acquire a house, and begin a family soon. First on my list of priorities is getting married, then a house, and finally kids. Eva, what are your thoughts?" "Tom, I think your plan sounds wonderful. I don't really care which order we do things in, but we should consider our financial status, particularly in light of our savings. And even if we have children, I don't intend to resign from my position. We could set up more flexible work schedules. All I'm concerned about is our financial situation should we decide to purchase a home." "Yes, that makes sense," Tom said. "But I find it annoying that you make more money than I do. I still envision us living on our own. I had hoped that as soon as we got married we could purchase a home." I said, "That might be difficult," implying that there would be difficulties. "Tom, since I already earn more money than you do, let's spend our time organizing our wedding and purchasing a home. We may discuss having children later and decide how to proceed with my profession then." Tom said, "All right, let's follow that plan." Although in my heart, I didn't want to quit, I put up this suggestion to maintain harmony. If not, I worried Tom would never stop expecting too much from me. We invited both of our families to a celebration we planned during our engagement. I had never met Sophia, Tom's sister, before our wedding since she was abroad on vacation. Without knocking, she stormed into the bride and groom's prep room, smirking, and said, So this is Tom's choice? A little too basic in comparison to his former partners, huh? Your new sister-in-law is me, Sophia. I'm quite straightforward with my family, just so you know. Hello, my name is Eva. It's nice to meet you, I said, a little surprised by her audacious manner. Sophia gave me a dismissive wave before walking out of the room, which surprised me a little. Yes, my new sister-in-law was quite the character. In contrast, Sophia's spouse struck me as a reasonable person when I later met him. Our wedding ceremony proceeded without a hitch and was lovely. After Tom and I ultimately bought the house of our dreams, life appeared to be going by quickly, which inspired me to put even more effort into my career. I was busy one day when the doorbell rang. Tom was asked to respond. With laughs and grins, he brought Sophia back, who had chosen to stop by without warning. Hey, Eva, Tom seems to live in such a large home. I think that's really fantastic for him. He is, after all, my younger brother, Sophia said, settling in. I've been putting forth effort myself. Please take a seat and settle in, Tom said. Eva, is there anything to snack on? Let's move quickly, my sister is here, Tom remarked. I couldn't get rid of the impression that Tom wasn't acting quite right. In front of his sister, he seemed to egotize and act as though he was the only one who lived in our house. He had clearly misled her into thinking he had purchased the property on his own. In addition to continuing to contribute to the loan payments for our home, I was a major part of the down payment. Tom insisted on having the title in his name alone despite this, and I finally gave in. I had assumed that living together would make little difference in who was named on the deed, but I took offense at Tom's boastful remarks about it to his sister. Still, I decided to not say anything. Enjoy these nibbles. You know, Tom works really hard, I said jokingly, attempting to diffuse the situation. Why does Eva seem like such a boss? She's not the boss or anything, Sophia said, sounding a little annoyed. I said, a little taken aback. Well, actually, I am Tom's supervisor at work. Oh, is that accurate? She asked, shocked. Did Tom fail to inform you? I asked smugly. Tom explained. Eva had been employed by the firm since shortly after graduating from high school, so she was already a manager when I started. That's precisely how it occurred. Sophia pondered. If it were up to me, I would have quickly beat her. Oh, you graduated early from high school? Sophia questioned rather mockingly. You seem so responsible, yet you're less accomplished than me. Is there an issue just because I didn't finish high school? I replied, attempting to maintain calm. Well, not really, but as I'm your sister-in-law, and you're not a high school graduate, I guess I can ask you anything. That's the rule, Sophia jokingly said, implying that she wasn't quite serious. Ava, my sister gets what she wants. I'll have to ask you to leave the house if you refuse, Tom said, apparently supporting his sister's absurd statement. They were talking in a way that confused me. She's my sister-in-law, so why does that imply she can expect anything from me when she doesn't even have a high school diploma? And was this some kind of weird joke, threatening to throw me out of my own house if I didn't comply? I forced a pleasant grin and hurried back into the kitchen, wanting some time to gather my feelings. I could hear Tom and his sister chatting after that, and they seemed to be sincere in what they had said. Sophia joined me in the kitchen a little while later. Hey, Eva, I actually need to ask you for a favor. What is it? I questioned, fearing the question already. I need to borrow some money, please, she remarked, implying that it would just be a minor assistance. How is that a small amount? That is a significant amount. For what purpose do you even need it? I asked, attempting to understand the circumstances. Let's get real, it's just $5,000. I take it you're a supervisor? Sophia said, You must have a good salary, figuring that my financial predicament would readily accommodate her demands. I was left wondering how we'd arrived at this point because the entire talk felt strange. Sophia needs the funds to pay for the remodeling. She dismissed my reminder that she had lately boasted about her new condo. Did I really? Just hand me the cash, please. Tom instructed me to ask you and said he would lend it to me. What? Why would he decide like that without first talking to me? Tom had made an assumption that surprised me. Listen, Ava. I'm going to contact your supervisor right now and tell them you're quitting if you don't give me the money. Which one will it be? Sophia placed me in a difficult situation. All right, Sophia. I'll lend you the money. But there's a circumstance, I said. We need to draft an obligation note. What? Even so, we're related. Sophia appeared taken aback. Sure. Please put it in writing. So please remember to bring a legitimate ID with a photo when you arrive to pick up the money. Well, it was a pain. But okay. Sophia grudgingly agreed despite the inconvenience, saying, I'll come over tomorrow night if you're giving me the money. I was aware that getting Sophia's consent in writing was essential. She grumbled, but, true to her word, the following day delivered everything needed. I became aware of how much Tom was influenced by his sister during this experience. It was so ridiculous. It seemed like nothing I said would have changed the situation. I later learned that Sophia spent the money on high-end merchandise, and that she had no remorse about requesting more loans following the first one. She had borrowed almost $112,000 from me in less than a month after I insisted on a promissory note each time. Right when I thought things couldn't get much worse, my boss gave me an unexpected call. I was a supervisor, but they wanted me to become a department manager. I was overjoyed as this brought my goal of becoming the top manager one step closer. I hurried home to tell Tom, who had taken the day off, the wonderful news. Tom, I'm at home. What do you think? I made my arrival known. Eva, welcome back. You seem delighted. What's going on? Tom hugged me. My supervisor called me in today, and you know what? He extended an opportunity to me to become the department manager. Being the head manager has always been my dream, so I'm thrilled to be getting closer to it. Hold on, what? You're getting promoted, Eva? Tom's response, which indicated a day full of disclosures and reaffirmed my dedication to my work ambitions despite the family problems, was a mix of astonishment and maybe a hint of skepticism. I do not understand. Have you truly accepted the promotion? Tom inquired, obviously worried. Indeed, I did accept it. I believe I've already told you about my job ambitions. I answered, taken aback by his response. Hold on a second. I would have preferred it if you had consulted me first before making this choice. What did you think? Besides, I've always stated that I wanted you to be a wife who stays at home. Why am I staying in the same place while you seem to be moving up? That doesn't seem strange to you, Tom asked, his tone betraying his obvious irritation. I have no accountability for that. I've stated clearly that I want to continue working. I'm not sure why you haven't been promoted, I said, refusing to back down. Tom must have called his sister shortly after our conversation since she appeared a short while later. Hello. Rumor has it that you stole Tom's promotion. What's up? She immediately accused me. Not that I stole anything. Promotions are given out in our organization according to performance, I said coolly. So what? You're saying that Tom doesn't do his job well? How could you be so jealous of your own spouse? Sophia cut me off with a sharp retort. They stole my bank card out of my handbag and decided to party at my cost. This is absurd, I mumbled under my breath. I tried to fight, but they overwhelmed me, and as they exited the home, laughing was their parting shot. My eyes welled up with tears when I recognized how much of a mistake marrying Tom had been. I started to feel regret, but I also knew that I had to locate a trustworthy divorce attorney. Tom never made it home that evening. He walked up to me at work the next day, looking pleased. Yesterday was a great time. Nothing compares to having someone else pay for a feast. I appreciate you covering it. He gave me a $1,500 receipt from an exclusive barbecue restaurant, and many more invoices totaling an astounding $99,000 from upscale bars. As additional coworkers came, I bit my tongue despite my inward rage. When I checked my bank account on the way home, I was shocked to see that $99,000 had been taken out. As soon as I spotted Tom, I addressed him. "Tom, what the heck were you thinking? Blowing $99,000 on upscale dining and nightclubs, no less." I could hardly contain my rage at his careless spending and disdain for our financial security, as I yelled, "That money was mine, saved from before we were together." Tom began complaining about me bothering him as soon as I went through the door. He responded dismissively when I brought up the subject of the money he had spent, money I had saved before we were married. "I don't know and I don't care." "Anyway, it's already spent," he said, locking himself in the restroom. For me, that was the final straw. I made the decision to file for divorce from him right then and there. I went to see a lawyer over the weekend, and in the weeks that followed, everything went according to plan when it came to our divorce. Tom was still acting the same way. On his days off, he still arrived home late and left early. Right before I thought I should get a detective to find out what he was up to, my brother-in-law Daniel called. "Hello, is this Eva?" It was Daniel on the other end of the phone. "That's right, Daniel. It is not like you to hear from me. What's going on?" Surprised by his call, I answered. "Well, a long time has passed." He said, "I'm actually calling to see if Sophia is with you." "Sophia is not present. Why are you asking?" "I have a question. She has begun arriving home later than usual and vanishing from me on the weekends without informing me of her plans. When I questioned her yesterday, she stated that she was at Tom's apartment," Daniel said. "I find that to be intriguing. Tom has been behaving comparably. It's no longer my concern, but it seems like they might be heading somewhere together," I said, pulling away from the circumstances. "Oh, Daniel, there's something I need to tell you too," I said, seeing a chance to talk about my own experiences. My lack of interest surprised Daniel, but he encouraged me to keep going. I told him everything, including the amount of money Sophia had taken out of my account, Tom's lavish spending, and my choice to file for divorce. Daniel let out a long sigh at the realization. "Is that accurate? I apologize for my wife." He admitted, "I've been at my wit's end considering getting a divorce, but I haven't been able to take that step." "Why don't you use the information I've obtained, Daniel? It seems like we have comparable problems to cope with. Perhaps now is the right moment to give these careless siblings a lesson they won't soon forget," I proposed, seeing a connection of understanding growing between us. Daniel said, "Yeah, let's work on this together," with a determined tone. Then he revealed something interesting. He had seen travel brochures on their vanity, and Sophia had been pressuring him to take a long vacation. I was curious, so I went to look at a shelf in our home that Tom never let me use. I was shocked to see membership cards and trip pamphlets concealed there. Now it all made sense. They were secretly organizing a trip. "Daniel, I think they're definitely planning a trip. I just found evidence of it," I informed him, both of us realizing the depth of our partner's deceit. This newfound information solidified our resolve to proceed with our plans for divorce and hold them accountable for their actions. I stumbled upon some travel brochures hidden away, sparking an idea. As I shared my plan with Daniel over the phone, he couldn't help but laugh and agreed to play along. We concluded our call with a promise to coordinate our actions through text messages. I also forwarded him some evidence that might be useful for his own divorce proceedings, while we meticulously strategized our next moves. "I believe they are undoubtedly arranging a vacation, Daniel. I recently discovered proof of it," I told him, and we both realized how deeply dishonest our partner had been. This newly acquired knowledge strengthened our determination to move on with our divorce preparations and make them responsible for their deeds. An idea came to me when I came upon some trip brochures stashed away. Daniel laughed uncontrollably when I told him about my idea over the phone, and he decided to go along with it. We agreed to text each other to organize our next course of action before hanging up the phone. While we carefully considered what to do next, I also sent him some material that may be helpful in his own divorce process. Tom departed our house 3 weeks later, right as the sun was rising. I knew what they were planning since Daniel had told me the day before. Tom contacted me a few hours into his journey, gloating about how he was going to take Sophia and their pals on a trip paid for using my credit card. I suspected they were up to something already, what with his late nights and mysterious phone calls. Luckily, I had prepared for their games. I pretended to be shocked and asked him to explain. Tom said with a sly smile on his face that they had been preparing for this trip for a while and saw Daniel as a backup plan in case things didn't work out. As he phrased it, they decided it was time to give me a lesson because they felt I was getting too confident. Tom was trying to make me feel inferior by implying that I couldn't resist their tactics, but I wasn't upset or offended. I had no feelings at all. I asked Tom, feeding into his sense of triumph, about his previous remark concerning my debit card. Tom, perplexed, said he had taken my card, but I told him calmly that I still had it in my wallet. There was a pause, and then he stammered, wondering what card he'd boasted about playing. To his shock, I disclosed that he had accidentally grabbed my old gym membership card. It was the same color and size of my debit card. Tom started to doubt his error and wondered whether he had messed up the cards until he realized that it really did state Fitness Club on the card. Daniel, who was hearing in via the loudspeaker, was laughing uncontrollably at this uncertainty. Tom had ruined his elaborate scheme to treat himself on my money with a simple gym card mix-up. Their foolishness not only brought an end to their magnificent plan, but also signaled the start of their downfall, as Daniel and I were now prepared to proceed with our preparations, fortified by the ridiculousness of their error. Though Tom said he had seen his debit card, his scheme had failed. Upon discovering he had been outwitted, he whined, "Ah, so this was Daniel's and your scheme." I feel really let down. In actuality, I switched your debit card with the gym membership card last night. I confessed, taking pleasure in the sequence of events. It appears you didn't bother to check this morning and just took off with it. What? What game are you playing? Tom was obviously irritated. No, it's not what I should be asking you. Hard break, eh? Don't let being my husband make you too arrogant, I said, refusing to be intimidated. With an attempt to dismiss it, Tom said, "You'll see. We have gifts for you both when we return." "Do you believe you can buy us off?" "I'll take only cash, please," he bluffed. "We will investigate that. Anticipate it with excitement." I ignored his remark and concentrated on the current circumstance. "What are you going to do now?" "Oh, Ava, can you send us some money?" When Tom did inquire, his tone shifted. I hung up, and in response to his further threats about implicating Daniel, I said, "Is that so?" Without much thought before turning in for the night. There were so many missed calls and texts on my phone when I got up in the afternoon. After making a call to Daniel, I chose to answer Tom's call. "Hey, at last. It's so chilly. Please send the money." Tom begged, "I think we're going to freeze." They were in Alaska in February, so it was obvious why they were uncomfortable. It was obvious that my idea had worked wonderfully in the bitter cold. "Are you serious? I take it that you said Daniel would assist? Or does he not exist?" I followed along. Tom was clearly confused. "Do you want me to explain? Daniel and I agreed to partner up because you and Sophia did," I added, relishing the irony of the circumstance. "Are you beginning to see why I kept you on the phone for so long during our initial conversation?" The purpose was to purchase time. Daniel, too? He's taking another aircraft back here. Tom was deeply affected by the realization. Far from the opulent retreat they had imagined, our well-coordinated reaction had left them chilly and trapped. Beyond merely foiling their scheme, What made me feel good was the unity Daniel and I showed in the face of their dishonesty. I terminated the call with a direct statement as soon as I got confirmation that Daniel had boarded his return flight. "We've teamed up to give you a lesson. Now go back on your own route. See you later." I hung up after that and waited impatiently for Daniel to come back. Using this time, I called my attorney to arrange our last meeting before filing for divorce. I wanted to be ready for the conflict I knew they would have when they got back. As expected, Tom and his group showed up a few hours later, full of outrage. "What the hell, Eva? I hope you're prepared to move out. Has Daniel not taken your side? What made you come back before us? This is not credible. Do you believe I'm cool with this? Now apologize to me." Tom became enraged. Daniel interrupted, his typically subdued voice now booming and demanding, "Shut it and sit down." Tom and his companion took a seat right away, stunned into quiet by Daniel's dominance. Without any delay, our lawyer gave Tom and his companion his business cards, which were met with astonished silence. Then Daniel and I handed them a stack of documents. Their features went completely colorless as they quickly perused the documents, their initial uncertainty giving way to disbelief. "But wait, property division is discussed here. Are you in favor of a divorce?" Tom stumbled, his tone showing his bewilderment. "Yes, a divorce," I affirmed in a forceful voice. "What on earth did I do? There must be a joke here, right?" Tom's friend was also perplexed and was searching for further information. "Yeah, right," Daniel said decisively. "I'm leaving for home. I'm done. For a time now, I've been recording your daily outbursts, including the call you made while supposedly on vacation. Tom, you don't truly think that your actions are an issue, do you? I can't carry on in this manner." "Wait, are you serious?" Tom questioned, the severity of the situation beginning to show in his voice. The whole 180-degree shift in circumstances became apparent when the divorce was about to happen. Standing together, preparing to escape the mayhem they had caused, was Daniel and myself. I think I mentioned that earlier. I firmly made my expectations known to Tom. I want the savings you used when I was single back, along with the remaining mortgage and half of the down payment we made on the house. And you, Sophia, are going to repay me for the money you borrowed and the additional amounts you withdraw from my savings," I said, turning to face Sophia. "Wait, Tom was the one who bought the house, and I never borrowed or spent any of that money." Sophia attempted to backpedal. "You're leveling unfounded charges." I urged, "Please review the documents," pointing out to her the promissory note that detailed her precise debt. "Not at all. I have no knowledge about this." Sophia shot back, trying to play down the significance of the evidence. "Without proof, I'll just write this off as useless." Sophia and Tom both made snap decisions. With arrogant expressions of defiance, Sophia tore the paper to pieces, and Tom crushed the business card beneath his foot. "Look here," I remarked, remaining composed. "The data is still preserved on my computer. Erasing that recorder won't make a difference. Additionally, Sophia, it wasn't the original paper that you destroyed. You haven't made any progress," I clarified, calling their attempts to destabilize the situation pointless. Tom asked, "What exactly are you trying to accomplish?" With obvious frustration in his voice, I said, "Oops." In response, highlighted their lack of vision. I revealed more of their actions to Sophia by saying, "I also have a claim against you for all the savings you have thrown away, not to mention the time you spent with that guy at the bar." Tom and Sophia started crying as they realized the truth about what they had done and the legal ramifications that would follow. Tom was confronted with a hard but fair financial reckoning, a total of $135,000, of which $8,000 was for emotional damages, $100,000 was for the down payment on the house, and $115,000 was for other miscellaneous charges. Besides, he owed $4,000 on an outstanding debt. Sophia was charged $35,000 in total, of which $11,000 was for other costs, and $31,000 was for the loan that she had signed a promissory note acknowledging. The sum of Daniel's claims against Sophia for purposeful anguish and extravagant expenditure was $135,000, of which $55,000 was for emotional damages and $80,000 was for other costs. These numbers were computed without any asset division, including condominiums. This severe financial and psychological cost was a potent reminder of responsibility and the need of honesty in interpersonal interactions. After the fallout, I anticipated that Tom and Sophia might try to sue us given their history. However, our sharp attorney had already anticipated this and included a clause in the settlement papers stating that any such attempt would be futile, resulting in no legal representation and only additional costs. This ensured we avoided court entirely. I gathered my things and departed from our joint residence. Tom was moved to a different branch as a result of the ordeal's widespread publicity, which put the required space between us. Tom contacted me shortly after and said something that startled me. "Eva, I miss you. Without you, life becomes meaningless. Shall we give it another go? You may devote all of your attention to your career." Knowing better than to repeat that pattern, I firmly said, "Goodbye." Subsequently, Sophia attempted to use the familial angle, advising me to reconsider. What if my brother and I moved back in together? Perhaps there was a misunderstanding between us. Things could be improved, in my opinion. I was also unwavering in my response. "Sophia, it's not going to happen, farewell." I refused to give in to their pleas and broke off all communication. Daniel was also awarded a comparable compensation, but he decided to ignore it. One day, I observed a "for sale" sign outside my former house while driving by. I had no clue how Tom and Sophia were doing, and I had no desire to find out, because the settlement had been paid in full and all correspondence had been stopped. In my case, I've literally moved on and up. I accepted my new life and purchased a condo. My work has been amazing, and I just received a promotion to regional director, a position I have long desired. Daniel and I have also become closer, enjoying one another's company and finding common ground. After a few outings, we've noticed an unexpected comfort in our interactions. Since the divorce, my life has much improved, confirming that I made the correct choice. My connection with Daniel has changed over time, but that's a tale for another day.